Enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Hey, yo.
My life, my money, my legacy.
Welcome, everybody, once again to the Wrestling Never Sleeps podcast. I am your boy, Jared Never Sleeps, with my very, very handsome co-host, Straight Shoot, with the suit, Adam, Mr. Fashion.
How's it going today, man?
Great. How you doing today? How you doing tonight? A lot going on today in the world of professional wrestling. You got your Monster Energy drink. Oh, I'm not gonna even say them because they're not paying us yet. All right, clout's not free, baby.
You got that right, yeah. But like you were saying before I cut you off, lots to talk about in the world or the industry of professional wrestling. If you want to kick it off, man, I'm ready to go. If you are, should be a good one tonight.
I guess we have to address the elephant in the room, or the Big Show in the room. Paul White, aka the Big Show, is headed to AEW. This came as like a surprise. I think I actually texted you the news this morning. I saw it like on Instagram. It was like a meme, and I'm just like, this is a stupid joke. And then people were commenting like, this is real. So then I went, and it was confirmed from Tony Khan's account that Paul White is going to Big Show. I'm just gonna call him Big Show because that's how I've known him for the last 20 years.
He debuted in WWF as Paul White, so it works.
Yeah, right. But I guess most people know him as the Big Show, but or the Giant for the older fans.
Giant.
But yeah, huge news and really a shock to the entire industry.
Yeah, quite interesting. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the deal or his duties might involve, definitely will involve commentary for a new show that they're producing.
Elevation.
For Monday nights.
Yeah.
Now, is it going head to head at the same time as Raw?
I mean, I can imagine. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. They're not going to put it out at 12 o'clock at night, right? It's got to be around like 8 or 9 or something, like some time where people would actually sit down and watch it. So I guess it's like a tricky way to go head to head without really not going head to head, because I don't know if you remember, Impact tried to go head to head Monday nights a couple years ago, and they said this just isn't working for us, and went back to whatever day Impact is shown on whatever network they're showing.
Yeah, that's when they brought in Bischoff and Hogan.
The whole
thing. We're going to turn this company around, but yeah. Maybe back to the topic though. I think it's a good idea. Raw's not necessarily a top-notch product that I'm familiar with it being.
Yeah.
Recently, so you're offering it on a free service like YouTube, where anyone has access to it
worldwide. Yeah.
It's a 2-hour show or 1 hour show.
I don't think they're gonna go more than like an hour, maybe 2 hours, probably an hour, because that's just so much content,
That is a lot of content because they got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. And then a pay-per-view.
Big Show and commentary should be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know him to be a commentator. I can't remember a great Big Show promo. But I guess they see something in him. He does have 25 years of experience in the business, so I guess he knows some things. He understands how to tell a story. I just don't know how he's going to be on the microphone. But how do you think this will ultimately affect AEW?
Short term, it'll gain some viewership, I think, through the YouTube channel being so accessible to everybody and anybody that wants to watch wrestling on an alternative compared to Raw. You can basically have Raw on your TV. You can have YouTube set up, and you can watch both programs head to head, essentially, if they're on at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Again, like the old Monday Night War days where you'd flip back, although you don't have to flip back now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, right? And yeah, I miss those days too. So this kind of gives it that vibe back. And like you said, it's a sneaky way of going head to head without really going head to head on a network, battleground.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool in that sense. Now, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but they did mention potentially that he could be an in-ring performer as well as his commentary duties.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in shape. He technically main evented WrestleMania last year. At the Drew McIntyre thing after the show went off the air, and they recorded that night, and then they had it on Monday Night Raw the next day. So I mean, if Sting is wrestling, I expect Big Show to wrestle because he's still in shape. And then you also have the dynamic with Shaq. So WWE dropped the ball with that years ago. They could have had Big Show and Shaq. So I'm assuming they didn't want to do it now. But I would agree with you. Short term, it's probably going to be a good idea. But long term, I don't see, other than him maybe being a backstage agent or him being a mentor to some of the performers, no one's trying to see Big Show. Like, let's be honest. Like, for example, if Big Show was still in WWE and WWE put out a press release on Monday afternoon and says Big Show's returning to the show tonight, Monday Night Raw, no one's gonna care. It's not gonna pop the ratings. You know, it's like no one cares about Big Show anymore. So I don't think it's like a high free agent signing at all, but maybe just the fact that he's experienced and the fact that he's been a veteran for so many years, it's going to be good for the promotion. But we're going to forget about this Big Show thing in like another week. I think.
I agree with you. And again, it's no disrespect to Big Show or Paul White.
Right. Yeah.
By any means, he's accomplished so much in WWF, so he does bring that credibility and again a lot of experience to AEW, where I feel that they need a lot more of that guidance, and experience, especially when it comes to their storytelling and their booking. Someone that can have a lot more input, a little bit more of a different view on how to maybe do things backstage if he indeed becomes, an agent or someone that takes on that role on behind the scenes, which would be kind of good for them as well. So again, long term, like you said, I give him more credit than a week. But maybe even 3-4 months down the road, is this going to make a huge impact for their ratings? Is it going to be a huge impact for storytelling or developing of new talent? Potentially not, but short term, I think it's a very good thing for them. And yes, it has now drawn a lot of eyes to the product again, that is getting really interesting again. Maybe a little bit more interesting than NXT, but we will talk about that a little bit later on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We were messaging each other back and forth during the show. So I know your input kind of on the whole situation with the Wednesday Night War, so to speak. But yeah, it'd be cool to see them do the whole Shaq thing again as well, involve them with Cody, Shaq, and everything going on with that. Where, like you said, WWE dropped the ball.
Right,
so
right.
Should be interesting.
Well, and it seems like fans are excited about it. I'm looking at a tweet right now from at Megan Freddy X25 that says, "Not really an AEW faithful, but I've always loved Big Show. He was my favorite wrestler as a kid." So I mean, AEW is getting those fans back that don't watch the product don't watch the wrestling industry products anymore. So it definitely will create a buzz. So, and we have to see how things go in the future. But yeah, speaking of NXT, let's dive right into it. Man, what a I don't want to say the word interesting show, but it was a show. NXT was a show tonight. First and foremost, it started off with a match, Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano. Dexter Lumis, I've seen a little bit of him. He's a very strange character. I don't know if it translates. Like I can't really picture, when I was watching the match, I couldn't really picture him on like the main roster or what division they would have for him in the future. And that's no slight on the person who's playing Dexter Lumis, but I don't know. What do you think about Dexter Lumis?
I think they should go more straightforward of him just being a badass, because he looks like he's got the size to be a badass. He's probably the biggest, if not the second biggest guy in NXT, compared to everybody else on the roster. So why wouldn't he be a big badass rather than this weird kind of character, this mysterious kind of character, like you said? It's really kind of confusing. This whole mind control that he has with his eyes. When people focus in on him, which we'll talk about, over the course of this match, some of the key points, because it did affect the match in a large way. But when it comes to Dexter Lumis and his character, I think they should take him more serious, get him out of the comedy stuff that we've seen him being involved in.
Yeah,
I think it does have a lot more potential than what they're showing us with him.
Yeah, and the thing is, and that's what we were talking about before, is Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano. Now, Johnny Gargano was a guy who was the NXT former NXT champion. He's starting off the match, and I'm not really, because I know Johnny Gargano can wrestle. They call him Johnny Wrestling. I'm not really sold on his comedy stuff. I know it's great that he gets to work with his wife and his friends in this new faction they have, the Way, I think it's called. And Austin Theory also had that funny spot where they said they have like a little chant like that's the way. And Austin Theory is like, that should be a song. Like just a stupid little line. But yeah, the match starts off. Gargano goes to like punch Dexter Loomis, and Loomis does like this crawl towards him. And Gargano acts like he's afraid and he just kind of backpedals or whatever. I think that, I mean, do you think there's a better way to use Johnny Gargano? Or is there a way to
maybe they're trying to deal with him in the situation because Loomis does play this mysterious character. He's
yeah
a lot bigger, he's a lot more intimidating. Obviously, Johnny's going to be scared of him.
yeah
But if I'm going to compare it to what he should be doing to what he's actually doing, he should be more like Escobar. When he was we'll talk about later, but with Karrion Kross, he plays a really good chicken shit heel. And he does it in such a way, like a cowardly way, that he's not totally scared of him, but he's setting him up for something sneaky or more heelish, like a type maneuver to try to get the advantage, where Johnny is just absolutely terrified. He's just trying to get out of there any means necessary. He again kind of makes it come off as a comedy act with his facial expressions and just the way he overreacts and settles. His expression, or the way that he's being what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidated, I guess, by Dexter Loomis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really like the way that they present him in this way. Not at all. I think he's better than that. And like you said, he's a really talented wrestler. And given the size difference, he could still play a really good coward, just not in a comedy type of way.
Yeah, that's what kind of my assessment of it. Like, okay, I understand they want to get Dexter Loomis over. I guess he's going to be in a feud for the North American Championship at some point, and they're going to try to elevate him. But I don't know if you have to make Gargano to be like kind of spooky, scared of Dexter Loomis. There's probably to me a better way to tell the story. And another spot that kind of confused me in the match was when his wife got involved, and she kind of does like, she goes for like a Hurricane Rana, but like Dexter Loomis, like he like catches her and puts her right back on the ring apron. I felt like that should have been a disqualification. No.
That's what I was thinking too. I even have that written down. Why is there no DQ? Obviously it's a regular standard match in NXT, which means that DQ rules apply. There was obviously blatant interference, even though no harm was officially done.
Yeah.
And he threw her back on the apron.
Yeah. I guess that's the rule now.
That should have been a DQ.
I guess that's the rule, that you can touch the person, but as long as they don't get hurt, it's okay. I don't know. Rules of wrestling always change. We have to check the official wrestling rule book. Well, that's what we have to do.
Well, the ref didn't ring the bell for a DQ, so I guess that's exactly how it goes, right? So from what I remember, though, that would have been a DQ. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. It's all legal in the world of wrestling. So Theory gets on the apron and hesitates. He goes to hit him with the chair. Gargano tries to attack Loomis from behind. Loomis moves and Gargano runs into the chair and Theory. Loomis puts Gargano in silence. Gargano taps out. Well, I think he did he tap out? I think he just kind of fell.
I think he passed out.
He passed out, right?
Yeah, he kind of passed out, and the ring just kind of rang the bell. What did you think of the whole finish with the bump with the chair and the way that Austin Theory kind of played up on that? I wasn't too impressed with the finish myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
he didn't sell it enough. He didn't do a good job. I think implicating himself in the match or trying to get involved. I think it was a botch.
Yeah, it wasn't a great spot. It wasn't really a clean spot. And even like the tap out looked weird. Like his Gargano's handle on Twitter now is like his face when he was passing out. And it wasn't really like the Stone Cold Steve Austin pass out or anything. It was it looked like a meme. It was a meme tap out. And I don't know if that really helps anybody. It doesn't really tell the story. It kind of makes Gargano look a little bit silly.
Definitely. And again, we mentioned it with the comedy act and everything like that, right? I think maybe this just plays up on that and adds to that type of character he's now portraying, because definitely not Johnny Gargano. It comes off as fake to me, comes off as phony. Doesn't do him any favors. Doesn't do any favors for the way as a group. And yeah, they're just not using him right, and he's just not doing himself any favors, especially with silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's something that happened in AEW a couple weeks ago with one of the members of FTR, where they kind of did the same thing. So maybe he's just trying to troll one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it seemed like. He's just trying to keep up with something like that, trying to be funny or silly. When Johnny Gargano is Johnny Wrestling for a reason, the
Yeah.
personality just doesn't match the talent in ring. And you know, it's unfortunate to see, but that's the way it is right now. No pun intended, the way it is.
Yeah, I definitely, because I'm a fan of him, and I definitely would like to see him kind of use a little bit better, or just kind of be a little bit more serious with his, just protecting his gimmick. Because the way he was presented to me when I first started watching NXT, this guy was like upper echelon. He's having feuds with like Adam Cole. He's having feuds with like Tommaso Ciampa and stuff. And now I turn on the TV. He's the first guy on the television in the first match, and he's being spooked, and his wife's trying to help him and stuff. So it's like, I want to see him in a kind of better light. So we move him for that. So Gargano taps out. Also, guys, let us know what you thought about that match in the comments. Next, it was a promo by MSK, a video package, and they were basically talking about their basically they came from humble beginnings and how they went through the whole process of becoming NXT performers, being at WWE PC. He talks about how his father passed away when he was a kid, and now he has a tattoo that says the legacy lives on, something to that effect. And you know how he won when they won the Dusty Memorial Classic Tag Team Classic, how that was one of the biggest moments of his life. I really love the video package. What do you think about it?
It was really strong. We know we saw them a couple of weeks ago. You know, playing joking around kind of, you know, while they were watching the whole women's tag team thing sort out itself, eating popcorn as a guest. You know, that was pretty funny. So we've seen that type of the personality. We've seen their in-ring ability. We've seen their offense as a tag team and how well they gel together. And, you know, we're starting to probably rebuild that tag team division in NXT.
Yeah.
That's kind of been lacking maybe a little bit since the last call up. A few tag teams have left and kind of left that void in the tag team division, but these guys are just kind of picking up the slack and now becoming, you know, huge fan favorites, because not only are they really great in the ring, not are they only comical, but they have great interaction with their fans, which is a huge thing nowadays, especially with none in the audience. They're always on social media. How could you not like MSK?
Yeah, I think they're like a good new age tag team. Like they're kind of just a great modern tag team, and just to add that background story of how hard they had to work to get to where they're at, and how you could just tell they're fans. That they had pictures of when they were children with, you know, who I think it was like CM Punk dolls and stuff. I don't know how old they. It must be like what 15 to have CM Punk dolls. He wasn't going that long, but yeah, like I think that's what makes wrestling fans connect, when you know that the performers are fans and not there just to collect a check or to go off to Hollywood or something like that. So I thought that was a nice little dynamic. And then I think there was a commercial break, and when they came back from the commercial break, MSK was attacked by the grizzled young veterans in the back. What do you think about the feud going forward with the grizzled young veterans and MSK?
I don't know what I think of the grizzled young veterans yet,
Mm-hmm.
but they seem to be the top tag team or heel tag team that, you know, would put on the best match with MSK right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's nothing that I'm too excited for, other than getting to see MSK again in the ring. It doesn't matter really against who it is, but I guess with that tag team division starting to rebuild itself, you got to start with a face team and a really good solid heel team, and the grizzled young veterans appear to have put themselves in that spot. So until I get to really see them in the ring with a team like MSK right now, can't really gauge or say too much on them. So yay or nay, neither can I say, but kind of excited to see what they got going on, especially if NXT and, you know, the management are pushing them forward to have this good feud, you know, with MSK.
Yeah, and I think that you know, they're still young. There's still not a lot of history with them, but this is the type of feud that can go on for years. This can go into the main roster. This can be like a 5-year thing, 10-year thing, where now you have the body of work to really tell these type of long-term stories. So I think that's gonna, they have time to grow together, and they can one team can be a face, one team can be a heel, and they can switch. I always love those type of long-term booking stories. So I'm
Kind of
definitely
like
looking forward to seeing these guys.
kind of like the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and
Right.
the Hardys. That three-way feud with the tag team division when it was red hot as well. So if those two teams, like you said, can just continue on and maybe even flip-flop back and forth later down the road,
Yeah.
it should make for a very, very interesting and solid, slow-burning story.
Mm-hmm. I
And
agree. So we have the next match on the card. We have Tyler Russ with Malcolm Bivens versus Leon Ruff. And as Ruff is making his entrance, Swerve Scott out of nowhere appears out of nowhere and kicks Ruff in the face. Ruff falls off the ropes. Scott sends Ruff into the ring apron and declares the ref declares like a no contest. So someone on Twitter, let's see.
I'm interested.
At All Talk Wrestle One, Leon Ruff really be out here just getting his ass beat. That's the tweet, because that's what it seems like. I mean, the guy is Leon Ruff is and again, whenever I criticize any type of performer, not to take any away from their hard work or what they're doing and everything, but he's really undersized, even to like NXT standards. He reminds me of like me when I was like 10 years old, running around with my wrestling buddies and like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior in my underwear. Like he looks like he's skinny and he's small. Right. So he had that stint as a champion, North American champion, and then now he just, like the tweet said, just getting his ass beat every week.
Yeah, he was hanging out with Damian Priest before Priest got called up.
Yeah.
That's
protection. Trying to
intervene in that whole story feud and stuff like that with the North American Championship, like you said, held it for a hiccup. And then, just kind of like you said, now he's just the one getting beat up every week. Swerve, I like the aggression. Obviously something wasn't working for him, so now he's stepped it up and turned it up a notch.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to see that aggression again from somebody, especially when they're, on screen put in that position and off screen feeling that kind of vibe. So they put a little bit more into their character now. It means a little bit more to them personally. And now they're taking themselves to a whole new level where we can look at them as fans and going, hey, this guy is a serious contender now, because look what he's doing to poor little Leon Ruff, just getting beat up every week.
Right. Yeah. After having that short championship stint.
Unfortunately for Leon, but it's pretty entertaining in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a pretty entertaining way to just squash somebody. I don't have a fault with that. And it's how far can you really elevate this guy? At the end of the day, he's really tiny and he's really skinny, and he just doesn't really look the part.
He might have to go to AEW and have a feud with
and become world champion.
What's his name?
Marco Stunt.
Yeah, Marco Stunt. There we go.
I love to see
the
it.
Ultimate feud.
It'll look like Spy versus Spy from Mad TV. Next up on the card, we have, you really like this match, Io Shirai versus Zoe Stark. Now, I was surprised about this booking, because Zoe Stark, if I'm not mistaken, she just debut just like last week or so?
Yeah, this would be her second match. She dominated last week. She looked really strong. So the GM, William Regal, told her, hey, we really want to see how good you are. We think you're this good, but show us how good you are. Gave her an opportunity and a non-title match, of course. You just can't throw her into the championship belt like that against someone like Io Shirai.
Yeah.
But she gave her a non-title opportunity. And yeah, I did like this match. She came out looking really strong. It was a nice slow pace, which you don't always see in NXT. Too often. Some actually wrestling holds they don't see, period, in sports entertainment these days.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. She's got the look, the athletic ability, and she was holding her own against someone with the experience of Shirai, especially with Shirai being, in my opinion, excuse me, one of the best women in the whole entire roster, period, on any brand.
Yeah,
and
for
of
sure.
course,
I mean, even Sasha said she'd want to work with her. Yeah.
I think she's been champion for 10 months. So a huge opportunity, and I think she made the most of it, big time.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think the only criticism I would have of Stark is I feel like her gear looks a little bit bland, looks like kind of indie. Just her look doesn't really look like sports entertainment performer. She just seems like very much interchangeable indie wrestling woman character, but they're booking her strong. They're putting her in with, like you said, one of the top women in the industry. The finish goes, Stark tries a kick, but Shirai catches her foot. Shirai lands a palm strike. Shirai lands the tiger feint kick. Missile drop kick by Shirai. Stark kicks out at 2. Stark backdrops Shirai to escape. Shirai's modified backbreaker. Shirai lands a runner off the top. Shirai hits her backbreaker. Stark kicks out. Stark hits a German suplex, which looked a little bit clunky, I think.
Yeah, it was a little botched.
Shirai kicks out. Shirai surprises Stark with a double knee strike. Shirai hits the over the moonsault for the win. So yeah,
There was another botch in there too. With the back body drop, I believe. Shirai tried to land on her feet, but slipped
yeah,
earlier on in the match, and she landed on her backside. But she quickly recovered, I believe. So it wasn't too noticeable. It wasn't too big of a deal, I don't think. But there was 2 botches in that match.
yeah. It's a tough business. It's a tough business on live television.
There's a banana peel in there.
Right. It's and then to add to the story, then Tony Storm walks out, and let's see. Tony Storm walks out on the stage and says Shirai is willing to fight anyone but her. Storm says Shirai can beat her. Shirai says she will fight Storm anytime, anywhere. Storm says if that's the case, Shirai would ask Regal to book the match. Shirai yells that Storm is on. So that's a good way to progress the story. But where does Stark go from here?
Good question. You send her back down, let her rebuild up. She showed everybody what she's capable of doing against, again, the best woman in NXT, one of the best in the whole industry right now. You send her back down, let her rebuild her character. Like you said, maybe get the new gear, look less of like an indie star or a wrestler or talent.
Yeah, do something with her.
Star in WWE and NXT. Build her value back up on social media, get that going. I'm not exactly sure how it is, but build her image up in general is what I should have said. And then, kind of come back out, keep on looking strong as long as the booking's there for her and the opportunities there. With her skill set that she's displayed in the last 2 weeks, she should have no problem growing and getting that rematch again. I think that's another one that could be slow burned. They had a really good competitive match, really good respectful match. There wasn't really a heel versus heel situation. So maybe they could build something off of that when it's time for Shirai to pass up the title.
So do you think that, okay, because she just debuted, do you think taking a loss so early, does it hurt her at all? Or was the loss in such a way that she still looks good coming out of it?
She definitely looked good coming out of it, in my opinion. I don't think this loss, especially against the champion, hurts her. If it was against maybe somebody else low down on the card, definitely would have hurt her. Sorry. But being the best of the best, there's no shame in losing to that, right? It just means you're second best potentially.
Right.
If you work hard enough, you can get back up there, and that's what she needs to do, I think.
Right, because I guess she's kind of supposed to lose. Yeah, she's kind of supposed to lose in that situation.
She looks strong though. It's like Austin and Brett. When at WrestleMania or whatever it was, right?
WrestleMania
great.
10? No, it wasn't 10. It was I know my WrestleManias. This one is
13.
13. It's at the Garden, I believe, right? Were they at the Garden at 13? I think it was 13, yeah. With the blood.
13.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah. And then but that Austin lost that match, but he came out bigger and better than Brett did, right?
Yeah.
And not saying that Stark did in this situation, but it's an example of that.
Right, yeah. It definitely could happen.
Yeah. Very cool match, though. I enjoyed it. Probably one of the only matches that I truly, really enjoyed on the card, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like we were talking back and forth, and it's kind of why I might have obtained this drink that we're not going to mention the name of.
Right.
But
Pay us Monts. I'm not going to say the rest of the name. They know who they are.
Monts.
So then we move on backstage. Johnny Gargano yells at Austin Theory for not hitting Loomis with the chair. Theory says the chair was necessary. Theory says Loomis is just misunderstood. Hartwell says Loomis is kind of hot. Gargano says he is sending Theory to therapy. So again, you have two very accomplished, very competent performers going with the comedy stuff, going with the jokes. So
joking around, playing funny games, silly stuff. But I was going to mention this earlier about the whole Indy Hartwell thing. During the match, the whole eye interaction where she kind of got sucked into his little mysterious little thing that he does.
Subtle,
And
yeah,
then
the subtle
throughout the
like.
match,
Mhm.
throughout the match, she would keep on doing it, right? So there was a little bit of a tell there where she might maybe get lured in next from that group throughout this whole title feud for the NXT championship between the two of them, and then maybe see what happens there. But then the subtle tell right here where she mentions them again, finding him attractive in some way, shape, or form. So just another little plant or a seed planted, something to develop with the storyline. At least it's something interesting or something different, maybe. So I'm just kind of curious on that whole situation there. And then, of course, I forgot to ask you before again, are you excited to see the Loomis and Johnny rematch?
Um, Not really. I get the Dexter Loomis character. I think it's interesting that how just weird and creepy he is, and he doesn't blink, and he has like that kind of Nancy Pelosi stare in his eyes. and but I'm not interested in it for whatever reason. Yeah, it's just like it's like the grandson of Psycho Sid or something. But Psycho Sid just did a way better job with the finish. I mean, I wish the guy the best, but again, when I was watching him, I looked and I said, okay, what would they do with this guy on a main roster? And unfortunately, I just kind of see him on another one of those like weird, okay, he's going to have some type of 24/7 feud with R-Truth. Like, that's all and it sucks, but that's all I kind of really see from him.
I agree with
And
that.
and I think Johnny Gargano has the ability to put him over and kind of, move him up the card in a way that also doesn't hurt Gargano. And I just didn't get that type of story. So, I get if people like Dexter Loomis, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I
For
don't think
whatever
they have the
reason.
chemistry that you'd like to see the two
They don't
have,
have the chemistry, right? They just didn't have the
especially
chemistry.
with the talent on
Yeah.
Johnny's side, especially with that. So, but
Like,
again,
like if
promo
some,
overall, me.
yeah, like for example, if a guy like maybe let's say like Daniel Bryan, if they could be in there with Dexter Loomis, I feel like he can get him over in a way where it's like not too cartoonish, spooky, but it's just enough to let us know like, okay, this guy's like a weird psychopath. You don't really want to be close to him. You don't really want to be near him, but it doesn't hurt Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. Same
Yeah.
with like Randy Orton or someone like that, right? They could pull it off.
Right. Right. Ooh,
We've seen
Dexter
him do
Loomis
it
and Randy
before
Orton
with
tag team.
what's that?
Dexter Loomis and Randy Orton tag team. I can go for that.
Go for that.
Yeah, and then
That'd be
I guess
intense.
Loomis turns on him or something, and that'd be a nice little feud. I don't know who'd be the. That's the other thing too. Getting back to Dexter, who like was he supposed to be a babyface?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's supposed to be the baby face in all this.
So the weird, creepy guy that doesn't blink, who has a stone serial killer face that might have like dead cats in his freezer, is the babyface in this situation?
Apparently someone was Wade Barrett was trapped in his basement, according to him over
Yeah,
the it's the century of the anti-hero, right? New
right.
generation
I guess
anti-hero.
psychopaths are in.
They're in.
So next up we have more comedy. This is just a variety hour tonight. They have
Oh yeah.
Cameron
Stand-up.
Grimes. He's watching his iPad. He's on the WWE network checking out, or maybe he's on Peacock by now, but he's checking out the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase spot where he has the little kid and he says dribble the basketball 10 times. And on the eighth or ninth time, he just kicks it away from the kid and the kid doesn't win the money. So Cameron Grimes thinks it's a good idea to try that with some random guy backstage, I guess. He said, I'll give you $1,000.
Staff member.
Yeah, staff member. I'll give you $1,000 to dribble a basketball 10 times, which most people would know that's a pretty easy task to just dribble a basketball with no defense 10 times. So Grimes
I
just
don't think I could do it, but
you just gotta bounce it. It's so easy.
look at me.
So Grimes just watches this guy dribble the basketball 10 times and was just puzzled as to why the guy could do it, and he loses his $1,000. Very talented performer, but what did you think about the and this it became a recurring gag throughout the story. What do you think about that little spot?
Bad comedy again. I was not
Yeah.
a fan of it. It could have been done right. I think they were onto something with it because that was pretty funny back in the day. I remember
Yeah.
watching that live, and thinking, oh my gosh, this is great for a heel
Yeah,
to do.
that was
Then
hilarious.
so
Yeah.
over at that time, and he was just so good at what he did. But for Cameron Grimes to do something like that, but again, make it goofy, silly playtime comedy hour, it just kind of got tired of it really quickly. And why didn't the guy run away at least?
Or do
If
maybe a
you run the ball, why
crossover
didn't
or do
he
something
turn
like
away?
something. Yeah, because dribbling 10 times is really it's so simple. It's
Yeah,
ridiculously simple.
not exactly. Like
Yeah.
anyone could do it. Even myself. I was just joking before, but I
Yeah.
mean, like, come on, like, why didn't he just like run away with the ball on number 8? You know what I mean? Turn around and like run away, and then Cameron just be like, "Oh, I should have kicked it earlier, or thought of that, or something like that, right?" But
Right.
no.
Or he misses the kick, maybe like the Charlie Brown spot where Lucy, something like that. Make it look a little bit right. But
Banana peel slip.
and when I was looking at this, I was thinking in my head because I have a lot of respect for Triple H, just what he's done for the industry. And in my head, the NXT is Triple H's baby, and I'm like, this guy he's okay in this stuff. He's booking this.
Kind of makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like maybe R-Truth could have got this thing over, but it just wasn't funny.
No, and like, what's with Cameron Grimes' gear? Is he like mini Bray Wyatt now from back in the day?
Yeah,
With the wine stuff in the hat,
like the steampunk type of look. It's
and and another big question, the most important question, is why is he carrying around $2,000 in cash when he knows every week someone gets jumped backstage?
right.
Like every week, someone or 3 people or 10 people get jumped backstage. Why are you carrying around $2,000 worth of cash
Just get a
in your
debit
pocket?
card, bro, or just Bitcoin wallet or something. Why did you
Just the ATM machine back.
right? Just don't carry the money around.
Everyone's getting jumped.
That's why Taker had to have it carry a gun and knife back in the day. People were robbing and
Exactly.
stealing. Yeah, he's
Riddle says they evolved more, but more people are getting jumped now than back then.
he feels too comfortable with those metal detectors now back there.
That's true. That is true.
So moving on, we have Z Lee with Boa versus Casey Catanzaro and with Caden Carter. And basically this was like a squash match here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually impressed with Z Lee's entrance. She can really do some like impressive flips and kicks and all that
She
stuff.
does have the martial arts background, so it does come pretty natural, I think,
Yeah.
which kind of makes it believable. But just everything else just seems a little silly again to me, like the whole guy in the chair and like the mentor thing and the master guy and like the approval and that's all I got. No offense.
That's why I felt about it too. It's like, okay, this is her entrance is impressive. Like she's actually like she has a background in karate or martial arts or whatnot. Just a basic squash match. Nothing else to say to it. That's pretty much it. But now this team they're in like kind of like they're in like the tag team, not hunt, but they're in the mix with like all the tag teams. So this type of squash was you don't really see that much. You kind of get people who are even like just a little protected. Like you're not going to see like let's say New Day people get squashed much because they're always in the mix. So where's their tag team go from here?
I don't think very far.
So
To be honest, I just after that, like, it kind of makes me what they're trying to do with Lee as well, because really they're just, they're allowing her to squash and kind of look strong, but they're not really doing it with people that are upper on the card. You know what I mean? They're not slow burning it. They're keeping her steady and still. And eventually she should be challenged for the world championship, you would think, or like the women's championship, after all this promo stuff that they put into the videos packages, her coming back and squashing all these people. That's where I'm really more curious on where she goes from there, right?
Yeah.
As a single competitor, I think she could be really good, but they need to start giving her the right opponents, I think, now.
Yeah, and that's another thing I thought because I was impressed with her look. I was impressed with, like I said, her entrance and what she's able to do. She's very impressive.
Yeah.
But again, I picture her moving up, and I picture her being on Monday Night Raw, and I picture her just being in a weird tag team with like Charlotte or something, or
joining Retribution.
Yeah, something stupid, or she's jobbing to like Lana, and it's like, oh, this is sad. Like, I know how this story ends, but we'll see. Next, another spot with Grimes. This time, he is trying to get a actual WNBA player. That's what the dirt sheet's saying. The actual WNBA player to do the 10 dribble thing, and this time now she hits him with the crossover, and he has to give $1,000 to her again. LOL. Moving on from that. Next up, we have, because we don't talk about that spot, we have Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. So as Gibson and Drake make their way to the ring, Gibson announced that MSK's Wes Lee has a broken hand. Regal found them both for the attack. Drake says he's happy they don't have to see MSK bouncing around for the next few weeks. The better team lost during the Dusty Cup finals. Drake and Gibson win the match after hitting a ticket to Mayhem for the win. So they only have 2 hours, a lot of very like short matches and short segments.
Yeah, it seemed like that. And what do you think of the team of Killian Dane and Maverick, first off?
Well, I'm just glad to see Drake Maverick has a job. I remember that back in the day, back in April, I think, when they had like the mass layoffs, he was kind of one of the people that was released, and then they kind of brought him back. I don't know if he actually got released, it was a swerve, but yeah, what can you really do? How can you elevate these guys, these tag teams? They're just people that are just going to be kind of stuck in NXT. And there's only so much you can do with Drake Maverick. I think personally, he's just better off as a manager than a competitor. But yes. It is what it is. How do you feel about it?
I like Killian Dane on the opposite side of that.
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest fan of Maverick per se. I think he should be doing something else in a different program with somebody else. Where Killian Dane, I think for a big man, he's still really agile. He can come over as really strong. He has a lot of talent in him as well. He works like a big man, but he can still do those different things that, he could be a brutal, aggressive heel, kind of like Rusev was when he first came in.
Yeah.
So if they repackaged him, pulled him out of this situation, maybe have him turn on Maverick, get that heat back in a certain way that, he could before. I think he could be a lot more than what he's doing now. Someone that could potentially have good matches with guys like Dexter Lumis down the road, two big men, or a Karrion Kross, depending on if Kross is a heel or a face. I'm unsure of that right now, but we'll talk about that later. But I think Dane could be better off on a single competitor. And like you said, I think Maverick should be a manager or a consultant or maybe a GM role if there was a spot available for him somewhere else. So I'm not a huge fan of that team per se.
Do you think Maverick would be a good manager for Dane?
Did they already do that, or they just go right into a team?
Well, I'm saying because he's gonna move up to he's gonna keep on moving up. So did they split off, or does he become a manager for him?
Yeah, I'd like to see that because he's managed before, right?
Yeah.
So and I think he did a pretty good job as a mouthpiece. I don't know Dane for being the greatest on the mic either.
Yeah.
So someone with, maybe not as much charisma could benefit from someone like Maverick again being the mouthpiece for him. So I could see that being a good work, especially if they turn heel.
Yeah, absolutely. That just kind of elevates it. At Steven the Warman says, "I'm all about grizzled young veterans. I can't wait till they get to the straps at NXT." At Just Wrestling 5 says the grizzled young veterans had a match, Maverick and Killian Dane, but prior to they attack MSK and cut a promo on how they've the best tag team in NXT. I believe they actually are the best tag team in NXT.
I might disagree on that, but who am I to say?
Right. It's just people with opinions on Twitter.
Exactly. We love to hear them.
Let's see what else they got on Twitter. Seems like a lot of I'm just going through some tweets. There's a lot of positive reactions to the grizzled young veterans. They seem like they're getting a warm reaction from the do they call it the NXT universe, or is it still the WWE universe?
I think it's the WWE universe.
It's still the WWE universe,
within
right?
that universe. It's just a planet within that universe.
It's like Mercury. basically.
It's Jupiter.
Jupiter, Uranus.
Not Uranus, yeah.
And yeah, at Scotty Styles 33, I love Grizzled Young Veterans finisher. Oh, yeah, they do have a good finisher.
Was that the dropkick DDT
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Mhm.
I even noted that down. I was like, the comeback or the when they took over at the end there, they did the DDT dropkick. Pretty good tag team work together again in ring. They have really good chemistry as a tag team, and they work like heels. So that was really cool to see. So they're growing on me.
Mhm.
They're definitely growing on me, and I'm a little bit more excited after watching that match to see how they do with MSK.
Yeah. It will be interesting. Let us know what you guys think about that match in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, Wrestling Never Sleeps. And the final match of the night, it was a no disqualification match. Santos Escobar versus Karrion Kross, and this thing got ugly. What'd you think about it?
Why is Cross selling so much? For a guy the size of Escobar.
For a guy
Cross is
Randy
supposed
Orton
to
wants
be
to work
this.
with, he said he wants to work with in the future. Why is he selling like this?
I know it's crazy, right? And it goes back to with Gargano and Loomis too. You got the two biggest, baddest guys in NXT, taking bumps like they're half their size for guys that are half their own size. It doesn't make sense to me as to why. I understand a little bit more with Escobar because he had the two goons helping him.
Yeah.
So it was basically like a 3-on-1 handicap match, which was smart by Escobar. That's what he had to do in a no DQ situation to even, make it passable as to why he was getting the advantage so much and so often. I didn't like the fact that he attacked the shoulder. I thought he should have gone for the leg on the bigger guy.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
would have made a little bit more
he had
sense.
the shoulder injury over the summer. I think so.
That's true too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he's trying to jump on that. So that's a good point. But again, going against a bigger guy than me, maybe chop block, go for the leg, cut him down to size.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. That's type of psychology.
Yeah, exactly. Take him off his feet, slow him down, that sort of thing. So I was kind of curious about that. I liked the comeback, the second one, because the first one got cut off. And when the I think it was Mendoza or Wild took the severe bump through the plastic and the guardrail.
Yeah, that was
Every bump that those two guys took so many bumps, and they sold them really, really well because they were really extreme. Like Cross was beating them down, and like they took it really well. So kudos to those guys. They really helped Escobar elevate his heel image, I think, by having those two guys around in this match, even though it seemed like a 3-on-1 handicap match. But the second comeback was really good. The table bump was phenomenal.
That looked like it hurt. That looked scary. That was violent.
Crazy good. That made me smile. That made me pop. I'm starting to lose my voice. Sorry. And then, rolling them back in. And then, the only thing that I didn't like about the finish, I like Cross's finisher because he's such a big guy and he can pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right to the back of the head. I've been hitting the back of the head before. You can go blind from that. It does knock you out, but it potentially could. So it's more than believable, especially after the table bump. But the way that Escobar sold it or took it didn't look right because he like kind of dropped to his knees and then kind of fell to his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look like it really did as much as it should have. What did you think of the whole match? What did you think of the finish? We talked about the table bump.
Yeah, the only thing I was confused about, I wasn't familiar. This thing started as a no disqualification match, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, did it start off in like the parking lot or somewhere? Like they were fighting, they were fighting on a truck or something. Yeah, what exactly? Why do these guys hate each other so much? What's the? I was confused about the backstory here.
And I'm with you on that one. Again, I had that written down, but I kind of passed over it.
Oh, so there's like really no backstory with these guys.
I don't think so. I think it was like a disrespect thing. Something one said, and then the other one said something else, and then all of a sudden they're throwing in a gimmick match. No real buildup, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, please, guys. Yeah. Sorry if my ignorance is, shined a little bit here on this episode with this particular situation. But as far as I know, as far as I can remember, there's no real story here. There's no backstory. There's no buildup. It's just squawk, squawk, no DQ.
And it didn't seem like there was any, like usually WWE, their production is awesome. And it's usually they have maybe like a video package to explain why these guys hate each other or why they're going all these great lengths to hurt each other and put themselves through tables and plexiglass, and they hit the truck spot where he hit him with the truck door and stuff on free television when when Big Show was about to I guess they're announcing Big Show was on the other channel or something, but
Oh wow.
yeah, it was a surprising match because I didn't expect it to be so violent, like a violent DQ on free television. But I mean, I'm definitely a Karrion Kross fan, as I know a lot of people are.
Me too.
I thought it was a pretty good match. I think I could have gotten more invested in the match if I understood why exactly these guys are fighting and why I should care about these guys fighting. Other than that, it was just kind of like random violence to me.
Like, I'm confused on, what you got this heel in Escobar. He is the cruiserweight champion. You have a former NXT World Heavyweight Champion in Cross.
Yeah.
Is he face, heel? Is he a tweener?
Yeah.
Like, kind of confusing, like you said. Why is this cruiserweight championship? They mentioned, oh, the title's not on the line. Of course it's not on the line. Look at the size difference. Like, Cross is not coming in at the cruiserweight weight limit.
Right.
No
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. So it just kind of, left me doing this. But again, good to see that the right man won finally. It dragged on a little bit longer than I would have liked to see, but still, interesting way to, do NXT on, like you said, TV, that type of match, for no particular reason. So.
And then does it? They already had the DQ match. So is it over from here, or do they do like a War Games match? Do they do a Buried Alive or something? They've already done no disqualification on free television. So where the heck does this feud even go?
I don't think it goes anywhere from here. I hope not, because I'm not a big fan whatsoever. If you are a fan, again, let us know below why. And again, maybe you can get us a little more information on the backstory if there is one.
Yeah.
But particularly, I would not like to see this go forward. I'd like to see Karrion Kross compete for that championship title somewhere down the road. I think a match with him and Baylor would be really interesting.
Yeah.
I mentioned about size, but Baylor is more of an established type of wrestler. He's done it all on the main roster. He's proved himself in Japan, everywhere he's gone. He's been a huge star. He can compete with the bigger guys. So Kross and Baylor would be really, really cool. I think, depending on what they do with Adam Cole, which I think we're about to talk about next. Because
we'll get to that. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for the entire night, to be honest.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours just to see. And before we get to that, also, no Pete Dunne. There was no Pete Dunne on the show. I just noticed.
No Pete Dunne.
Yeah,
no
when
Pat
you said Finn Balor,
McAfee.
no Pat McAfee still.
No tag team champions.
Yeah. That's weird.
Larkin and Birch gone.
Yeah. So at D Fig the Truth says, also I enjoyed the no DQ match between Karrion Kross and Santos Escobar. Everyone was already invested in Kross, so this match helped my boy Escobar out, proved he could be a big time player since maybe some people don't watch cruiserweights. Yes, he had help, but still #NXT.
He did compete. He did give him a beating. But that's just the part that confuses me, even with the help.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he needed the help just for it to be a little bit more believable because everyone in NXT is super tiny. Let me go back to this. Only in the WWE would psycho kidnapper murderers like Dexter Lumis and Karrion Kross be considered baby faces. At Sean Thurman again, all these weird Undertaker, the Fiend, Dexter Lumis, Karrion Kross, all these psychopath murder people are baby faces. What the heck? What are they? Alexa Bliss
was not a face.
It just shows what Vince thinks of society.
Anti-hero.
I can't even call them anti-hero. They're just murderous psychos, like weirdos.
It's like the Robin Hood.
It's weird. So then moving forward, what we all look to see for 2 hours was I'm hitting a commercial break. Let me turn that off. So what we're looking to see is Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes out and he is explaining to the people why he turned on his brother Kyle O'Reilly, and he has this impassioned promo and he's saying he's sorry. He wants things to go back to how they were. He said he didn't like how Kyle O'Reilly kept on spoiling opportunities. to win the NXT championship because he wants to. He's been an NXT champion before, and just the little small violin. He's saying all this, and then Roderick Strong comes out. Roderick Strong comes out and he's saying that, what are you doing? We are brothers. We shouldn't be fighting. We gotta stop this. We gotta just keep it moving, and we have to make things the way they used to be. So then from there, Finn Balor comes out. Finn Balor, he attacks Adam Cole. So then I noticed that Strong kind of stood back and he was kind of like, should I? Oh, well, first of all, Finn Balor gave Roderick Strong like this weak push that just kind of like didn't knock him out, but he was just kind of like was paused. And then he waited and Balor's beating up on Adam Cole. And then that's when Roderick Strong intervened. So as you can see, they're showing like a story of kind of like a big dissension between the members of Undisputed Era.
So that push was softer than the Poke of Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
so
soft.
thankfully Roddy did not go down.
Yeah, he couldn't. That would have been like the Shawn Michaels cell against Hulk. if he would have went down.
Exactly. But again, yeah, the whole let's hug it out, bro. The emotional story of Adam Cole didn't have anybody fooled.
Yeah, duh. Like,
it was such a setup, and Roddy, of course, being Roddy, fell forward and he got down on the hands and knees and, brother, I love you, brother, and they hugged it out again, and everything was great, and he went to help him up, and then bada bing, bada bam,
bam, low blow, and then he took his chain and threw it, crushed his chain. Oh
yeah, he ripped it off. Kind of remnants of Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan back in the day. Not as epic, but very, very emotional. I almost was in tears. Kleenex box was next door. I was almost there, reaching for the Kleenex, but I held it together long enough to see the low shot, to know that it was a swerve, so that he did not do anything unpredictable. I kind of felt like I was watching a C+ soap opera.
I feel like I was watching like
roller derby kind of violence.
I feel like I was watching Zach Morris and Kelly Kapowski break up on Saved by the Bell. With this.
Oh, Topanga and what's his name?
And Corey. Yeah, this is
Corey.
Topanga and Corey from Boy Meets World. Yeah, man. First things first. I don't think anybody wanted to see the Undisputed Era break up. No. For one, they're just too good of a faction together. They're, dare I say, one of the best factions in the history of sports entertainment and the history of wrestling. They're just a great faction. And I also believe, and there was a shot, and I love Adam Cole. I love the Undisputed Era, or everything they're doing. There was a shot where they had like Roderick Strong and Adam Cole. Like it was kind of angled from like the apron view. And it really showed me just exactly how short these guys are. Like they're like really like 5 foot something, like 5'6" something. Like they're really, really tiny. And not to take any
6'5", right? So
everyone's short to me, but I mean, not to take anything away from my ring work. You don't get to choose their height, but I say that to say that because of their stature, I feel like they're just much better as a faction. They're much better as a group. Like, united we stand, divided we fall. So with the fact that they're so popular as a faction, and the fact that they're just, I don't think they can stand alone. Maybe in the indie world, but in WWE, giant Roman Reigns and freaking Omos and all these huge guys we have in that company, I just don't want to see them break apart because I don't think they can stand alone. What do you think?
No, and I agree with you on that. That's why I don't think Adam Cole's going to be alone for some reason. I think for some reason that he's finally seen the light and he knows that Pat was right. And I think for some reason that Pat McAfee and Adam Cole have made some sort of alignment, agreement, and that has now altered Adam Cole's, his vision on the Undisputed Era, being fed these whispers in his ear saying that, hey, these 3 guys are holding you down. You're better than that. This is why we beat you. This is why you're no longer champion. Let's get you back on track to the real Adam Cole, baby. I think that's what's going to happen.
Boom. That would be, I can go for some Pat McAfee, Adam Cole, #book it trips.
Yeah, Pat
But
was right.
yeah, it'd be great. But it's man, they're such a popular faction. Everyone loves the Undisputed Era, and I feel like if you're going to break them up, you have to have a really great payoff. Like when the Shield broke up, elevated Seth Rollins to the main event. He became WWE champion. That was a pretty good story. But the Undisputed Era breaking up, I just don't see where it goes. Who's the breakout star of the group? Um, and I want to see them have a main roster run too. I want to see them have a main roster run, which we're not going to see.
No, I wouldn't want to see that.
Sorry, I want a properly booked main roster run. I'm sorry.
Thank
I don't
you.
want to see them run around R-Truth for the 24/7 championship. I don't want to see
that.
that.
I wouldn't mind seeing. But now kind of where they go with this, with Kyle O'Reilly, they've announced it's going to be out for a few weeks at least, or a few months, whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was weeks. And everything that happened with Roddy and Adam Cole at the end of the show, do you think they put those two in a program while we wait for Kyle O'Reilly to make his comeback?
Man, yeah, I kind of
shown animosity towards each other.
I kind of see this turning into like some type of like Undisputed Era 4-way matchup. Just kind of like the matchup, the three-way, the three-way Shield match we never saw, like the big elevated one. Man, I just wish they were telling a better story. I guess we still have to watch and see how it goes, but this seems like premature. It seems like there's no real plan to it. And if the Undisputed Era are fighting, so Adam Cole is trying to get the NXT title from Finn Balor, but he's also fighting with his brothers. So it's kind of just like, where is this going? Like, there's no streamlined who's fighting who and why. Because it seems like Finn Balor should be the focus of this, but he's not. So
do you think since Undisputed Era was face, that maybe this might be a swerve just to get the belt back on Adam Cole, and what we've seen so far between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy is just maybe a ploy to sucker in Balor, even though Baylor's a little more hesitant now, not knowing who to trust.
But I feel like if they're gonna do that, they probably wouldn't have done like the low blow or the super kicks. Like he wouldn't have took out Kyle O'Reilly.
So when Riley comes back to beat Adam Cole's ass, but then cost Finn Balor the world championship, do you think that means more value when Adam Cole gets the belt back and they all hug again? Go, hey, we got you, Finn Balor.
Damn. Man, that's such a clunky story. Like I don't know where they're going with this. It just, I feel like that.
I mean, it's out of box maybe booking per se, especially in this day and age. But I could potentially see this being a swerve where they make it look like Riley was hurt. They wait 3 or 4 weeks, so Adam and Roddy can do their little thing to make or convince Balor that, hey, we're actually at war with these guys. Like, we don't want Adam Cole. We're now friends with you. You can trust us. And then when it comes to the point where it's Balor and Cole, Riley makes his comeback. Everyone thinks that he's there to save Balor, but then he nails Balor, and then next thing you know, you got Undisputed Era still together, but again back as heels. Because there is no Kings of Wrestling really anymore without McAfee, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know where they're going with this.
What if, but
yeah, like even like the story they currently have, it just okay. I get why brothers fight and all, but okay, so why do we need Finn Balor in that situation? And then also, why would you super kick your brother for losing all the time? Like he's trying to win the belt, he couldn't win the belt, so you super kick him. Like it doesn't. There's like because when Owen turned on Brett, all right, it made sense. Hey, Brett, all you had to do was tag me in. You didn't tag me in, and now we lost. I got eliminated. You always screwing me over. I'm pissed. Makes sense. This Undisputed Era story. Hey, you keep on losing, and I want the belt. So I'm mad at you for losing. So I'm going to super kick you like that. I don't. And then he's
wasting opportunity, whatever it was.
But it doesn't really affect. Like he tried to win and he lost. Like there's nothing you can do about that. And now he's just low blowing all these other guys and stuff. I don't know.
It's not like Cole tried to help him either, right? So
yeah, it's the story is a little clunky to me, and I think for the work that the Undisputed Era have the body of work they put together on the NXT brand, I think if you're gonna break them up, just give them like a really high profile, great story, and maybe send them on their way up to the main roster with like a great, like, this is the best we can do as far as body of work. But this, I'm just having a hard time really following this story. I don't know. I don't know if other people are confused, but I'm very much confused by this story.
Where's Bobby Fish and where does he fall all into this?
I have no idea. So I guess he comes back to and he gets super kicked for some reason. Now he's mad at Finn Balor also. I don't know.
He gets super kicked by Cole, so he gets mad at Baylor.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense. And then all while Finn Balor keeps on getting like super kicked by everybody and beat up by everybody, and he's the champ.
Interrupts everybody and then he gets punched for it.
He's in
as the champion.
Yeah, he's in the he's the collateral damage of the Undisputed Era breaking up. But yeah, what do you guys think about this whole Undisputed Era breakup? Let us know in the comments because I'm confused. Someone explain it to me, please.
We know Cole wants the belt, right? So it looks like they are kind of building up between Finn and Adam Cole. Because the ending of that whole segment was Cole getting the upper hand on Finn. So like he's definitely made it clear that he wants the championship. So one way, shape, or form, those two are going to be heading on head to head. Could you imagine those two for WrestleMania weekend?
I would love that, and I guess that maybe would tie the story.
An NXT match to the WrestleMania actual card. I think that would be the match that you have to do, right?
Yeah, that's a great card. That's a great match. Finn Balor versus Adam Cole, and then I guess maybe if you do that, then as Adam Cole's about to win, 1, 2, and here comes Kyle O'Reilly, and he prevents Adam Cole from winning the championship, and now they're pissed at each other. Now they feud. It's something like that. But yeah, Adam Cole and Finn Balor, you can't go wrong with that one.
Exactly.
But I would like to, again, with their body of work, I would like to see all these guys elevated and all these guys put in a position where they can concede moving forward. But I just can't. It doesn't make sense in my head. I can't follow the story or where they're going with this. But
fair enough, man. Definitely fair enough. I'm sure a lot of people out there are a little bit confused as well. I just kind of have an out of a box mindset when it comes to this sort of thing most of the time. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like to look at the what if factor. What if this happens? What if this happens? Even though it might sound a little far fetched. Yeah. But I kind of like the idea of this being a big swerve just to get Cole the belt. Kind of like back in the day with WCW, just not as badly booked. Yeah. When Hogan was trying to get the belt back all those times.
I think the only thing with that story is that kind of like because the way Kyle O'Reilly went out, it was pretty brutal. Like if they would have not shown.
Very convincing.
If they would not shown Adam Cole super kicking him or putting him through the stairs or anything like that, or having him stretching on the gurney, and it was kind of like, oh, we went backstage and Kyle O'Reilly's down, so then he can fake like he got hurt. But I kind of
that's predictable though. I think that.
But I'm saying it'll kind of mess up the rules of wrestling if he fakes like he got injured, because in wrestling you fake like you get injured, So it's kind of like they can't like just make him fake like he's injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that's why they took the stairs to the extreme to make it more convincing and stuff like that. But again, we're going to see where this goes because, again, like you said, a lot of people are probably confused about it. Leaves me scratching my head sometimes too. And it's just like, I'm probably definitely not right. But again, it's just that what if factor. So it's going to be really curious. What would you or how would you grade the overall show this week? I'm scared to ask.
I just was not in love with this show. I love NXT for the takeovers. The takeovers have always been traditionally good. I'm gonna have to give this show I'm gonna give them a C just because they put effort into it. I'm gonna give them a C. But the show was kind of boring, bland in my opinion. Even as like I think if I'm a casual fan and I'm flipping through the channels and I take a look at what's going on, I don't want to watch NXT ever again. I would flip it off. I wouldn't want to continue to watch it, but I will give them credit for working very hard and doing their thing. But I think this show was kind of like on the side of like, What do you think?
I have to agree with you on that as well. I needed a drink just to keep me awake. And again, it's no discredit to the talent inside the ring. I think a lot of it has to do with the booking.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. The booking was poor.
Well, and again, that's unfortunately the talent in the ring fell a victim to that. And this show overall, I actually gave it a C-. So I think I gave it a worse grade than you did.
Yeah.
But I think what they did in this was finish up a lot of things. Like Cross and Escobar, I think that's done.
That's done. Yeah.
For the most part, right? I think it's time for Cross to move on to something else. We're finally going to see a title match between Loomis and Johnny, at some point now, because, the non-title match win. We're going to see, just a bunch of different things happen. They announced a women's tag team match as well, which is really cool.
Turning. Oh, right. We didn't talk about that with Nia
Raquel and
Jackson.
Dakota
Shit, yeah.
Kai. I think 2 weeks, and then next week there's another match. I forget the announcement offhand.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA. We forgot about LA Knight as well.
Oh, right.
What do you think of LA Knight?
Well, I mean, I'm not a big indie guy. But from what I've heard, he's he's sensational. He's sensational. So I'm interested to see how he fits in this dynamic. But I mean, from what I'm watching this show, it just seems like they don't have really much of direction for anyone that's not I guess a woman. Well, it's just kind of all over the place. And I know NXT to be a lot more than that historically, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm used to NXT running a lot more efficiently, and being a little bit more promising week by week through their television broadcast. I think a huge part of that was back when they were on the network, it was only an hour long. It was
that's
more
a difference.
Exciting.
That's a difference.
And now they have 2 hours, and they have responsibility to USA Network now, which we all know by watching the main product on, Raw, can be, very dismal, or very
at times it can be very
boring at times.
The whole job.
Unfortunately, again, but we'll see next week if we get to it again. Now, you did happen to catch a little bit of AEW. I don't want to go into it.
That was actually my next point. I don't want to get too much into it because this is a NXT review, but I was flipping back and forth. I had NXT on the big screen, and I had AEW on my laptop. And I'm full disclosure, I'm not a big AEW fan. I'm kind of very much disappointed in that promotion for a number of reasons. I will talk about maybe on Sunday. Make sure you guys watch our show, Straight Shoot Sundays. But anyway, I felt like when I was glancing over at AEW, it just was a lot more entertaining. A lot more stuff was going on. I saw MJF. I saw Chris Jericho. I saw the Young Bucks' father get put through a truck. I saw Ray Phoenix versus Lance Archer. I saw Sting. I seen Shaquille O'Neal on there. So
Paul White.
Paul White. So in comparison, although I don't like the AEW product, I must say that just seeing eye test, it just looks way more entertaining and it's way more watchable. And I'm rooting for NXT, but they have to do something different from what I saw tonight. That's what I'll say.
Boring show.
What's up?
It's a boring show.
It's a boring show. Yeah. So, but I think that about does it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, Wrestling Never Sleeps. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and facebook.com/Wrestling Never Sleeps. You can catch us on Instagram at WSN TV. Anything else that I miss? We have a show
media platform.
Yes, at Jared Never Sleeps. We also have a show on it'll be Saturday morning. We'll have it up for SmackDown reactions, and also check us out on Sunday. We're just gonna go into we're just gonna have a conversation. It's called Straight Shoot Sundays. We're just gonna shoot the shit on wrestling. What's going on in the industry. You just have a casual conversation. But
maybe we can do. I know we have an idea for a topic already, but if listeners want to, send a hashtag Straight Shoot Sundays, hashtag add us with our handle.
Yes, please.
WNS_TV. Give us suggestions for the Straight Shoot show as well. We're more than willing to, open opinions and ideas. So if you want to hear something being talked about and, being discussed or, being put down or elevated in a sense of it being good or bad, by all means, let us know as well. Jared,
please.
Again, Jared Never Sleeps. Jared Never Sleeps. And then again, myself at Real Adam Anthony.
Yes, sir.
I think, despite NXT being a little lackluster in our opinions, I still think we were able to have a lot of talk about. I think we pretty much covered everything on the show that was needed to be covered, and I'm excited for the fallout of Elimination Chamber for SmackDown this coming Friday.
Oh, that's
and then
gonna be great.
the show again being released that Saturday morning.
Yes, that's I love SmackDown. SmackDown was a pretty decent
Me
show.
too. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It'll be our 1 week.
it'll be our 1 week anniversary of this show. So go check that out. Go check out our other videos, guys. Take a look at my my editorials. Should Bianca Belair have won the WWE 2021 Royal Rumble, and should Edge have won the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble? But that is about it. We will see you guys Saturday morning. Make sure you follow us. For Adam, the Straight Shoot with Suit, I am Jared Never Sleeps. Thanks for watching, and it's still real to me, damn it. Good night.
Bada bing, bada boom.